You are welcome to this channel. Don't forget to like, to share, and to subscribe. In the news today, Wike has more or less become third-term Senate governor pampered by indulgences of the president. Who said this? Pastor Tunde Bakari. In an SATV broadcast, Pastor Tunde Bakari addressed the ongoing political crisis in Rivers State, criticizing Nyesom Wike, the former governor and the current FCT minister, for acting as though he still governs the state. Bakari asserted that Wike's continued interference in Rivers State's affairs stems from the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's implicit endorsement, which grants him undue influence despite no longer holding the governorship. Bakari highlighted the dysfunction in Rivers State governance, describing it as a spectacle orchestrated from Abuja, with Wike maintaining a grip on state politics. He urged that Tinubu's apparent support enables Wike to overshadow the incumbent governor, Similaye Fubara, undermining democratic processes. This dynamic, Bakari suggested, fuels the crisis, as evidenced by the state of emergency declared by Tinubu on March 18, 2025, following pipeline vandalism and political turmoil, which suspended Fubara, his deputy, and the state lawmakers. Bakari's critique aligns with his broader condemnation of Tinubu's leadership, accusing the administration of fostering a motor park style of politics that erodes institutional integrity. He warned that such executive indulgence risks destabilizing Rivers State further, exacerbating tensions between Wike's loyalists and Fubara's administration. Bakari called for Tinubu to curb Wike's overreach and restore constitutional order, emphasizing that no individual should wield unchecked power over a state's affairs, especially at the expense of its elected leadership. In his statement, he said, "While a cabinet minister by the name of Wike has more or less become a third-term state governor in Rivers State, pampered by the indulgences of the president, recent events have made it clear to Nigerians that had this assembly been in place in 2006, when the third-term agenda was proposed, our democracy would have since turned into one of Africa's lamentable tales of a seat-tight dictatorship." That was some of the comments of Pastor Tunde Bakari as regards the address he made over the state of affairs of the country during the period of Easter. And the clergy, who is also a politician, if you could remember, he happens to be a vice presidential candidate with Muhammadu Buhari in their days of Congress for Progressive Change, the CPC party, then when Buhari was still serially losing his election after 3 times, before he now eventually won on the platform of All Progressive Congress with the vice president of the former professor, a professor, Yemi Osinbajo. So Pastor Tunde Bakari is a known member of APC and a known cleric also. He's a senior pastor of Citadel Church in Lagos. And oftentimes like this, once in a while, every year, he comes out to address the state of the nation. He believes that as God has led him, he will speak concerning issues. He speaks truth to power, whether it is his party that is in power or not. Because this kind of outburst from him had come even when Buhari was in power too. For him to tell Buhari what is at stake, what is going on, his job is as a clergyman is different from his job as a politician. I see Pastor Wike is the type that doesn't add those sentiments. He does not allow them to mix together, irrespective of the fact that it happens to be his own party that is in power. Not only that, he was also a contestant as an aspirant towards the race that eventually produces the incumbent President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and he was also a contestant then who happened to have been defeated by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu then. But that didn't stop him as a clergyman to still address the state of affairs, irrespective of the fact that he is from APC. So in one of the things that are important that he made mention is the matter of Rivers State, especially the activity of Nyesom Wike, is the one that is, pointing to, saying that Wike is behaving like a third-term governor. And he also gave a swipe, even a jab on the National Assembly, that they are a sit-down, National Assembly that is just an effigy controlled by the president. That if they happen to have been the National Assembly in 2006, when former President Olusegun Obasanjo was planning a third-term agenda, it will have been ratified for him, and by now this fourth republic will have been become a seat-tight one, in which the president there then will continue to extend his tenure from third term to fourth term, to maybe he might still be the one in power now. And he's looking at the fact that this assembly is not really giving good opposition, as it were, oversight function or challenge to the executive, which is a call for concern. That's number one. Number two, for a sitting minister like Wike, having strong influence over the state of affairs in his own state is also another issue. So he also pinpointed the fact that the president is the one that has over-pampered him, giving him undue power to begin to wield over the state, to an extent that a sitting governor in his own state seems to be powerless, so to say, because he is having feud with a minister who happen to come from his state and also doubles as a former governor who happen to be his own predecessor. And Mr. Tunde Bakari here, Pastor Tunde Bakari, is addressing the matter that the crisis will not go down if the president did not check this so-called FCT minister, that is Nyesom Wike, and also for him to restore even the abnormalities or anomalies that are in Rivers State presently, to do the right thing. But if he doesn't do so, it continues to seem as if Wike is acting that is like as if he's still the governor of that state. And the continued interference of Wike in the affairs of the state is showing the implicit endorsement of the president, that's President of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that is the one that is granting Wike the undue influence, despite the Wike is no longer the governor of Rivers State. So he's calling on the president to look into the matter so that they won't undermine democratic processes. Very, very important. Of course, he's saying that it is because of this backing from the president that is fueling the crisis in Rivers State, which is evident by the state of emergency that was declared by the president, and encouraging the president to, retract, and then also to make sure that things are returned to status quo. Remember to like our channel, give us your thumbs up, and please share. Thank you.